Hello everyone, today I'm going to read another book and it's called Herstory. It's really nice and you can notice that the title seems a bit different. It's called Herstory instead of history. Well, you'll find out why here. This is not just history, it's her story. It's the story of brave leaders, talented artists, gentle healers, committed teachers, and gifted problem solvers. It is the story of women and girls who bravely faced challenges, overcame difficulty or danger, and even gave up their lives to follow their dreams and make the world a better place. Stunningly illustrated by Sarah Walsh, this brilliant collection contains the stories of 50 incredible women and girls who shook the world. With wise words from each of the women, fascinating facts, beautiful photographs, and gorgeous art, this fantastic book will engage, entertain, and inspire dreamers everywhere. So history has a combination of the word his and the word story. So it's typically about the story of male, but her story is a combination with her and story, which is a combination of female stories. Okay, here's the picture. Well, this book has amazing illustrations, gorgeous. I can say scrumptiddly-ish, even though it's only used for food. But I'd say that this book has scrumptious illustrations. Published by Nosy Crow. Here's the contents, and you have different sections learning about each woman and which women are in there. Here's the introduction, and we'll pass that. Okay, here's the first person. The Queen of England, Elizabeth I, one of England's greatest rulers and the founder of an empire, a troubled princess. Elizabeth was born in 1533 in a time of political and royal drama. She was the daughter of King Henry VIII of England and a second wife, Anne Boleyn. Henry believed that only a man could rule a nation and dramatically divorced his first wife, Catherine of Aragon, with whom he had a daughter but no sons, so he could marry Anne. When Anne's baby turned out to be a girl, too, Henry was disappointed. Henry quickly found another new bride, Jane Seymour, and had Anne Boleyn executed as a traitor. But Jane soon died, giving birth to Elizabeth's younger brother, Edward. Elizabeth's father next married Anne of Cleves, whom he divorced almost immediately. He then married his fifth wife, Catherine Howard, Anne Boleyn's cousin. She too was executed by the impatient king, who finally married Catherine Parr before he died himself. Elizabeth was 13 and Edward just 9 when he took the throne. Young Elizabeth watched all of this from afar and clearly learned a lesson. Marriage was a dangerous thing for a woman. She was determined not to be ruled by any man, in case she ended up like her mother and stepmothers, set aside, forgotten, or even killed. Luckily, her last stepmother, Catherine Parr, was a kind woman who ensured that the young princess was educated just as well as if she had been a prince. You will nevertheless find me a rock that bends to no wind. I would rather be a beggar and single than a queen and married. Elizabeth's portrait on a coin, known as the Virgin Queen. When Edward, aged only 15, became ill and died, Elizabeth's older sister, he caught smallpox. Older sister Mary took the throne. Mary was a devout Catholic and Elizabeth was a Protestant. And because of this, Mary declared Elizabeth to be her enemy, locking her up in the Tower of London. Okay, I'll explain a bit more here. Mary was a Catholic and Elizabeth was a Protestant, and they have very different views about marriage. Mary married a man, but Elizabeth think that marrying would be dangerous for her. Of course, her husband would become the king. So the Catholic Church then didn't allow divorce because a woman was devout to a man, or that's what the Catholic Church believed in. And the Protestant Church was opposite. They allowed women to freely divorce a man. So that's two very different opinions about marriage. Ruling alone. When Mary died, Elizabeth inherited the throne at the age of 25. Being Queen of England was a tough job. England was poor, and fighting between Catholics and Protestants meant it was deeply divided. Elizabeth quickly made England a Protestant nation once more, but unlike her sister before her, she allowed her subjects to practice their own faiths quietly. With a new queen on the throne, suitors appeared from all over Europe, but only one man came close to capturing Elizabeth's heart, Robert Dudley, Earl of Leicester. However, she was determined not to marry, even for love. Although Parliament refused to give her the money she needed to rule unless she married, she resisted. She would rule England alone. I know I have a body of a weak and feeble woman, but I have the heart and stomach of a king, and of a king of England too. Hatfield House in England, where Elizabeth learned she was to be the Queen of England. Under Elizabeth, English culture flourished, and William Shakespeare's plays started a golden age of literature. She also looked beyond English borders, sending Francis Drake to sail around the globe. In America, her knight Sir Walter Raleigh started a colony named Virginia, after the unmarried Virgin Queen. An empire had begun, and soon money and goods from the new colonies came pouring into the royal treasury. Elizabeth's position was not always safe. There were many plots to overthrow her, including one involving her cousin, Mary, Queen of Scots. After Elizabeth had Mary executed for treason, Mary's supporter, Philip II of Spain, sent a huge fleet of ships to invade England, known as the Spanish Armada. But Elizabeth's own fleet, helped by strong winds, pushed them back, and England was safe again. Shaking the world, Elizabeth ruled for 45 years. Many people believed that she was the greatest monarch ever to rule England. Where there had been violence and poverty, she created peace and prosperity. She sponsored the arts and exploration of the New World, starting an empire that would last for hundreds of years. And she did all of this on her own, resisting a marriage that might have made it harder for her to rule in her own right. Elizabeth's unique signature R stands for Regina, which is the Latin for queen.